Hi everyone! Welcome back to another Animal Crossing New Horizons video. So in today's video we're going to be doing a flower fairy interior design here at Halves Island. So first things first, I do just want to say I'm not the best at decorating. I really didn't expect people to come to me for decorating advice. So please don't judge this room that I'm going to create too harshly. But I just felt like doing a bit of decorating today, to be honest, even though I'm not very good at it. And I actually asked you guys over on my Instagram for New Horizons video ideas. And quite a few of you said you'd like to see interior decorating videos, which I thought was quite different and it's fun for me to do, especially in Halves Island since everything is a lot easier here since I don't have to order and pay for the furniture or worry about storage and things like that. So today we're creating a flower fairies room, and I think I'm going to create lots more of these for different sorts of fairies like water and light fairies. I think that would be super fun. As you can see at the start of this, I was basically just looking through all the items I actually own and placing any I thought would look good. Oh, and I should probably say I'm actually taking inspiration from this illustration from the Tinkerbell books. I think this is meant to be a drawing of Rosetta's home, and if you don't know who Rosetta is, she's one of Tinkerbell's friends and she's the main flower fairy character in the movies. She wears a pink dress made of petals and she loves pretty things and she's pretty funny. And when I was making this room, I made sure to include a vanity table for her since I know that's something she would really love. And basically this entire room is based off this illustration. It isn't very accurate, to be honest, but I find when decorating in Animal Crossing it's so much easier if you use a picture for reference, and I think that's true of like anything you do. Like if you're an artist, you always need a picture for reference of what you're drawing so that you can get everything correct. And I don't think I could create any fairy rooms if it wasn't for all the fairy stuff I have grown up with and read and watched and stuff. So yeah, if you are struggling to decorate on your island or in your home, I do recommend googling inspiration pictures. You can look at pictures of actual homes, pictures from children's books and graphic novels, and anything really. Anywhere you can find a picture that you want to recreate, you should do that because it really does make the decorating process so much easier. Oh, and on a side note about creating rooms in Halves Island, it kind of frustrates me that the upstairs room isn't the same size as the upstairs room in our own home, because I would have loved this room to be bigger and to create it in a much larger space like in the upstairs room you get in your house. But the one in Halves Island is just a regular sized room and I don't really get that because I actually really love decorating here and testing out how things look before having to go out of my way to craft the items and buy the items. And I can't really test out how things would look in my upstairs room here because there isn't a room of the same size. So yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that, to be honest. I think that this room would have turned out a lot better than it did if I had the option to create it in a bigger room. It's moments like these that really make me miss Happy Home Designer, because in that game you could choose which size house you wanted, and oh, it was so fun decorating in that game. I absolutely adore that game. Anyways, as you can see, I've basically filled the whole room with any plant and flower items I could find. There's literally so many lovely items in New Horizons for flower fairies, like the little tulip and the rose bed and the huge butterfly figurines as well. I was actually struggling to make a decision on what sort of flooring and wallpaper to go with because I didn't really have any that looked like what was going on in this illustration, and I didn't really have that many options either because I haven't really bought that much flooring and wallpaper in the game, so I was a bit confused for a while what to go with. But eventually I made up my mind to go with some wildflower flooring, and I think I went with the cherry blossom tree wallpaper, although I did stick with this like pink flowery wallpaper for a while, but I don't think I stuck with that in the end. I also decided to cover the walls in loads of plants and flower paintings and roses and flower garlands, and I put some fairy lights on the wall as well. I don't think it would be a fairy home without fairy lights. And basically I was just going for a really cluttered flowery vibe. The whole room is actually very messy, to be honest. You can't really actually make your way around, but it looks cute and that's what I was going for. So if you were thinking about recreating this room yourself, I would definitely recommend changing things around and removing some things, or trying it out in a bigger upstairs room of your house, since there really isn't much room to walk, and honestly this room wouldn't be usable otherwise. But if all you care about is the aesthetic and it looking nice, you don't actually want to use the room, then it's fine as it is. And as we all know, fairies can fly, and so the ones that live here won't mind how messy it is anyway because they can just fly around the mess. When I was creating this, I just made sure to move my character around wherever I needed her to be because she was in the way a lot of the time and I couldn't move her around where I wanted her to because the room is just very messy. But I think when you're creating something like a fairy theme, it usually does have to be quite cluttered because you're trying to make quite a large space look really tiny, and everything in it has to be quite big to make your character feel more like a fairy, you know? So like the rose bed is quite a big item, and the butterfly is a huge item, and these rooms aren't very big. Like I said, it would have been a lot easier with the bigger room. I think I managed to do okay with this tiny room. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it honestly made me really excited to make all the other fairy homes as well. I think it'd be really fun to make like a water fairy room and a tinker fairy room and things like that based on the Tinkerbell illustrations and scenes in the movies. So even though it was a bit of a challenge, it really did make me super inspired. So I do just want to say thank you to everyone on my Instagram that gave me New Horizons video ideas, because it really did help me out and it got me back into playing the game straight away, because as soon as I saw you guys say you wanted interior decorating videos, I was like, oh, I could make a fairy house. So I went straight onto the game and recorded this. So before I give you guys the tour, I just want to ask you, which sort of fairy home would you like to see next? The themes we can go for are Tinker, Water, Wind, Light, Animal, Dustkeeper and Snow. Although I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think I have any items for a snow fairy because I didn't unlock many DIY recipes in winter, so that one would honestly be a bit of a struggle, so... That's me secretly asking you guys not to ask for a snow fairy one. But yeah, let me know in the comments which sort of fairy home you'd like to see next, and I'll try to create it. But with that out of the way, let's just get on with the tour. Okay, so I didn't go with the cherry blossom tree wallpaper. I just realised I went with the butterfly wallpaper. I think this one suits the room much more since flower fairies would be around butterflies all the time. And as you can see, I did dress up my character as a flower fairy as well. She's all pink and I changed her hair and her eyes. So feel free to take inspiration from my outfit as well if you're trying to create a flower fairy vibe on your island or your character. Okay, so here we are, and here's our finished room. As you can see already, it is very cluttered, like I've said many times in this video, but the room's done, so it's time for a tour. In the center of the room we have this green sofa. It's like a mossy green color, it's so lovely. In the corner over here I have the Easter items. It's like a barrel with Easter eggs in next to a tulip. I think that the Easter eggs look like little tulip bulbs. Don't you guys think that? So I put them next to each other, like the flower fairy's growing some flowers in here, and she has a little gnome helping to look after them as well, and some butterflies. Over here we have her little tea area, so this is where she can make tea and drink with her friends and play some music on her Lily record player if she wants to. We have some wind flowers on the wall and a wind flower, I don't know what this is called, a wind turbine thing. Over here is the bedroom, so we have the wedding flower archway, fairy lights, rose bed, and I put it on top of a rose rug as well. And she also has this little basket of leaves and towels in, so she can like wash her face and have a bath and things like that, although there isn't a bath in here. I probably should have included that. But instead of a bath, we do have this little Cosmo shower over here, which I really love this item. Next to her vanity table and this golden plant, and let's not forget all the wonderful flower paintings on the wall. I like to imagine that she painted these herself. And over here we have some cherry blossom branches, some roses, little pot flowers, more butterfly friends, and this big star. I imagine it's just like a massive ball of fairy dust. We also have some little mum flowers on the wall, more roses, this massive butterfly over here which I imagine is like her best friend, and some flower barrels, more wind flowers and roses as well, this little bouquet of roses. I imagine she makes bouquets and gives them to her friends, and she spends days at home painting the flowers and stuff like that. And of course in the middle of the room is her lounge area full of little mum cushions for her and her friends to sit in, and they can just sit here and chat, drink tea. There's also lots of cherry blossom petals on the floor and leaf piles as well, and I think the whole place just feels like a huge garden, but it still feels like super cozy. I don't know where this house would be, like in a little flower pot or something, I like to imagine, and it's just full of butterflies and flowers, and I think this would make a flower fairy really happy. I especially love the little moss ball next to the sofa because it kind of makes it look like the sofa is made of moss or something. So yeah, that's the finished flower fairy home. Let me know what you guys think of it. It does kind of just look like a massive mess of items, but I think with fairycore and things like that, if you're going for a specific type of fairy, that's the sort of thing you have to do, especially when you're trying to create a nature theme inside your home. The only way to really do that is to include a lot of plants and leaf piles and stuff like that, so I think it being cluttered actually turned out okay, but I'd really love to know what you guys think. Obviously it's not the style of decorating for everyone, and a lot of people like a more simple, clean design, but if you are trying to think of ideas for a flower fairy home, I hope this gave you some inspiration. And like I said before guys, let me know know in the comments what sort of fairy home you'd like to see next. I'd also love to hear in the comments if you enjoyed this sort of video, and if you did enjoy it, please do leave a like and subscribe, only if you want to though. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you in my next video. Bye!